The 4231 Geggenpressing Ultimate, however you want to read it on the Steam Workshop, has been one I've tried before and failed miserably. So we're trying it again. Let's see how it works out. So, like I said, this tactic is one that I've tried before, actually a couple of times, where for some reason, in the process of simming the entire season, they changed on me. I don't know why. I put it in 4231 Ultimate as the tactic to use. I'm guessing my stupidity just didn't check that box to use it throughout the entire season, and they stopped. And it failed, and it just didn't do very well at all. But this time around, it worked. We're going to see how it does. But the 4231 Ultimate tactic, it is called Geggenpressing. It is a positive mentality. You can see a sweeper keeper in support, two wingbacks on support, central defender on the left in defend, ball playing defender on the right in defend, a box to box in support, a central midfielder in defend, an inside forward on support on both sides, an advanced playmaker in support in central, and then a complete forward in attack up front. In possession, you've got attacking fairly wide, approach play is pass into space, play out of defense, shorter passing directness, tempo is slightly higher, low crosses, hit early crosses, and run at defense. In transition, counter press, counter, and take short kicks. And then out of possession, high press line of engagement, higher defensive line, trigger press much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, step up more, trap offside, and stop crosses. Opposition instructions, nothing as usual. This one, unfortunately, does not have any information except a fancy little thumbnail for the tactic on the Steam Workshop. This guy has done a couple of different tactics. I haven't tested any of the others, but it would be really nice if you're watching this, put some information into the description so people can see what it's like instead of just seeing your pretty face on a nice thumbnail. But overall, let's see how it did. League table, unfortunately, as you can see, didn't do very well for any of the teams. Wolves in 9th are not bad. Tottenham in 11th are awful. Newcastle in 13th is not great. I will say, Manchester United in 12th. So this seems to be like a very weird season, but Tottenham gets the Conference League at least, so they've won something. But 51 points, 13, 12, and 13. Newcastle in 13th, like I mentioned, 11, 7, and 20 with 40 points, only 5 points off of relegation. Absolutely abysmal. Wolves, on the other hand, 9th place, the best out of these with 53 points, 14, 11, and 13. I would say none of the teams did very well at all with this tactic. So it definitely looks like if this is a good tactic, like the Steam Workshop, makes you believe, it's got a lot of downloads and all. You would definitely need to take control of it yourself, get your hands into the mix, and kind of do it match by match, because right here, as a very low baseline, it did not work at all. Tottenham's schedule looks not too bad. First half of the season, you do have 3 or 4 losses in a row. 0-5 to Brighton. But Champions League, you looked like you're doing fairly well. In the EFL Cup, you move on. Second half of the season doesn't look all that bad either. This end of the season, though. 0-2 to PSG, 3-all to PSG, away from home. That's funny. You lose at home, draw away from home. But from that point on, your season just tanks. In the last 6 matches of the season, and then 7th with the Champions League. So you're knocked out of the Champions League there. You're knocked out against Newcastle, funny enough, in the FA Cup 5th round, 1-4. So all in all, it's a little too spotty. Unfortunately, you just got the crap kicked out of you left and right here and there. And that tail end of the season is just woeful. Newcastle looks similar with a few more losses in there. Not great at all. Losing out in the EFL Cup, 3rd round, 2-4 against Arsenal, and then playing Arsenal again. We've seen that before. But starting off nicely with 3 wins in a row after the World Cup, but then not great. You draw Burnley in the FA Cup 4th round 2-all. You kick the crap out of them 6-2 in the 4th round replay. Winning out against Tottenham, there's that 4-1 win, and then losing out in the quarters against West Ham. And wow, you just cruised over Arsenal and then just blew it the rest of the season. Any of this could have been a win. I mean, 1 point, draw, 2 points. 1 point. You're not losing by too much. 3-4 against Wolves. 0-1 against Brentford. Everton. Okay, you got 2 goals that you got to replace. Liverpool, you got 3 that you're in there. But overall, any of this could have brought you up to something a little bit better than you ended up with. But 13th, just awful. Wolves in ninth doesn't look any better. Their first half of the season just doesn't look great at all, with only what? 6 wins in total. A lot of draws, a lot of losses. Not looking great. Just losing out immediately to Ipswich Town 1-2 in the EFL Cup second round. So that's awful. FA Cup, you do move on, but the replay against Leeds 0-2, not doing all that well. You started off the post World Cup season pretty awful. 2 wins in there, but then starting with Fulham all the way down, look at that run. From the end of February, March, April, May, all doing fantastic jobs there. And that's how you brought it up. It's too bad you didn't do that in the first half of the season. You would have been in the top 4 easily. Transfer-wise, Cedric, Veso, and Sousa, 2 Arsenal boys and a Levante boy. Not too bad. I mean, we've seen a couple of them before, but Sousa and Veso, I think, are fairly new, if I'm not mistaken. Ruben Neves out to Real Madrid. No question there. I mean, that's always going to happen. Transfer-wise, for Newcastle, Tovin comes in from Tigres. I think I played with Florian Tovin last season or the season before, and he was fantastic. Loved him. He didn't want to come to AC Milan this season for some reason. But Williams, cool. They've all been there. And then if you look at Tottenham with the money, you can see they bring in Javi Galan again, Traore from Stade Rennais, 20 million for Coop Miners. So we've seen some of these before. And then getting rid of the same people as you would always expect. Stats-wise, most goals, you do have Newcastle in 6, so that's not too bad. No one for most shots, most possession in Tottenham. Most dribbles made, Wolves in there at 702. Fewest conceded, nobody. Most shutouts, Wolves with 12, so that's not too bad. Most tackles won, nobody. Pass completion, Tottenham at 87, but that's usually standard. Newcastle with 528 most shots, and then most points per game is nobody. Not even in 9th can Wolves get into this list. Player overview, most goals, Holland with 43. Again, geez. Raul Jimenez, though, with 21. Isaac with 19. So both doing, I guess, bang on average from what they're usually get in these tactics. Nobody with most assists. Most player of the match awards, wow. Nobody did very well at all. Semedo with most dribbles made, 145, lie in 3rd. But man, Jose Sa with Wolves, 12 shutouts. Most tackles won, there you go. Gonzalo Guedes and Johnny, 112. Gave me a red card in the first match I ever played him in, I think at AS Monaco. Yeah, that was a tough match. Most key passes, Nabil Fekir, Newcastle with 141. Overall, they're just not doing it. Isaac with 134 shots, Jimenez with 113, Harry Kane with 98. That's one of the first times we've seen Harry Kane in there. But again, this table just doesn't do it at all. It's so poor. And we forgot these guys. Harry Kane with 30 goals, top goal scorer. That's insane. Basuma with 711 highest average rating. Most assists, Basuma and Son with 9. And then most player in the match awards with 5 is Son as well. But again, all these teams are so low. It's insane. Isaac with 28 goals. Harry Kane and Isaac getting all these goals and you're so low in the table. It's just unfathomable for me. Isaac with 728. Most assists with Fekir with 13. St. Maximin and Alexander Isaac with 5 player in the match awards apiece. And then as we look at Wolves, the highest in the table with 9th, but not by far, Raul Jimenez with 22 goals. Nunez with 703 highest average rating. Neto with 9 assists. And then Raul Jimenez with 4 player of the match awards total. But wow. 9th, 11th, and 13th. Where did Tottenham get the Conference League? Oh, the Carabao Cup they won. I didn't see that in Tottenham's schedule. So there you are, 2-1 win over Man City in the EFL Cup final. That is how they get the Conference League, Europa Conference League. So they got something. The Carabao Cup, they have a trophy. It's probably the lowest trophy you can imagine getting in the Premier League, but it's the trophy nonetheless. But still, 11th place is an awful place to be. And Newcastle in 13th. Wolves in 9. Oh well. But that does it for me, Sevian FM, for the Football Manager blog channel, saying thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.